Hello, friends, and welcome back to the screencast. Mr. Shetler here, throwing some math at you today. We're going to be talking about, now I jumped ahead way too soon. Here we go. Ratio tables, finding equivalent ratios, and scaling. I'm even going to add one more tool in there into your math tool belt that what is called Shetlerizing. And the nice thing about Shetlerizing, you'll find out, is it works for a lot of different things in math. I'm sure on the screencast in the future we'll be talking about that too. So let's get right to it, shall we? Let's take a look at a ratio. First things first, making yellow icing a very real sort of real world problem. We have 6 drops of yellow food coloring with each 1 cup of white icing. I can easily make that into a ratio. We're going to call that 6 to 1, but I'm going to make sure I label this so I'm aware of what the 6 represents. I'm going to put a Y for the yellow drops. And icing, or as we say around here, icing goes there. Now, the rest of the question asks how much yellow food coloring. So I'm looking for how much yellow. So I'm going to put a little square there. Food coloring. What I need if I'm mixing it with 5 cups of icing. First things first, let's take a look. To make these equivalent, I could do one of 2 things. The first thing I could do is I could see the relationship between 1 and 5 here is if I multiply that 1 times 5, I get 5. So, reason to say that if I, up here, multiplied times 5, I would get 30. What if I Shetlerize this? Let me show you another way to do it. Some people call this cross multiplication. You can call it Shetlerizing it. Call it whatever you like. And let me show you how convenient this is also. Just another way of finding an equivalent ratio. I'm going to cross multiply these 2 numbers and these 2 numbers. And that should give me an equivalent ratio. 1 times some number, I don't know what that is. I'm going to look that up later, right here, this blank. But here I do know 6 times 5 equals 30. And to make this equivalent, that also needs to be a 30. Now I need to think of 1 times some number, and that will equal 30 also. Well, 1 times 30. So there's another way to come up with that equivalent ratio by Shetlerizing. And the nice thing about that is you don't need to do a thing called scaling, which I'm going to show you next, which can be really difficult. You can just jump right to the answer. All right, let's get to another, speaking of answers, let's get to another question first. Here we go. Now this one here is cans of corn and how much they might cost for dollars. All right, now there's a little bit, this one's a little different, and I'll show you why. I'm going to write it out. The cans of corn, I have 10, and that costs $4. So I got my dollars here, and I got the corn here. Over here, I have 15 cans of corn, but I'm not sure how much that is going to cost. Don't know. The numbers are getting bigger, going from 10 to 15, but there's no whole number I'm going to multiply times 10 to give me 15. I could do a thing called scaling. I do see a relationship between the 10 and the 4. They have common factors. I'm going to say common factor of 2. So what if I divided both by 2? 10 divided by 2 is 5, and 4 divided by 2 is 2. Now I can go from this 5 to the 15 and say, oh, you know what? Since I scaled this, 5 times 3 gives me 15, which means down here, 2 times 3 is 6. That one takes a little bit more practice, but that's called scaling. It's my favorite thing. I think. No, it's not coming. I am going to continue forward. I'm going to use the Shetlerize of this one. I'll show you how easy that one can be. I don't need to scale if I Shetlerize or cross factor. Let's take a look. We're looking for the cost of 15 cans of corn. What if I cross multiplied? Shetlerize. 4 times 15 is 60. Thank you, Mrs. Chamberlain, for teaching me my math facts. And then 10 times some number will be 60. Well, 10 times 6. So to answer this question, $6 will get me 15 cans of corn. A little bit tricky, but using that Shedlerizing and cross multiplying, I think you'll get it. Thanks for tuning into the screencast. Good night and good math.